Are you still doing things the old way? Are you still stuck in the early 2010s mindset of what a virtual assistant does? Because if you are, 2025 is going to chew you up and spit you out. The VA landscape has fundamentally changed. It's not about checking off tasks anymore. It's about becoming an indispensable strategic partner. The difference between a VA who makes $15 an hour and one who commands $15,000 a month isn't skill, it's mindset. It's about avoiding the rookie errors that plague the inexperienced. We're not talking about simple typos here. We're talking about systemic flaws that scream, "I am a newbie." If you want to level up, if you want to stop competing on price and start competing on value, you need to watch this entire video. We are diving deep into the 15 critical mistakes only inexperienced vets still make in 2025. This list is your blueprint for professional survival and exponential growth. Get ready to take notes, because number one is already costing you thousands. The first and perhaps most catastrophic mistake that separates the novices from the true veterans in 2025 is ignoring AI co-pilot tools and sticking to manual processes. This is the digital equivalent of trying to drive a horse and buggy on the Autobahn. It simply doesn't work anymore. The landscape of digital assistants has been completely revolutionized by generative AI. If you are still spending 3 hours manually summarizing meeting transcripts, you are failing. If you are still writing 5 unique social media captions from scratch for every single client post, you are failing. If you are still manually categorizing 1,000 receipts in a spreadsheet, you are failing. The experienced VA views AI, tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and specialized automation platforms not as a threat, but as a mandatory co-pilot. They integrate AI directly into their workflow to handle the 80% of repetitive, low-value tasks. The rookie VA sees AI and thinks, "That might replace me." The veteran VA sees AI and thinks, "That will replace the tasks." I hate allowing me to focus on the 20% high-value strategy the client actually pays the big bucks for. Think about content repurposing. A novice will spend a full day watching a 60-minute podcast, pulling quotes, writing captions, drafting email newsletters, and creating blog summaries. A veteran VA uses an AI tool to upload the audio, generate the full transcript in seconds, and then uses a custom prompt to extract the key takeaways, generate 5 variations of headlines, and draft the newsletter copy, all in under an hour. This isn't cheating, it's efficiency. It allows the veteran to take on 3 times the eBay workload without increasing their hours, justifying a premium rate. The inexperienced VA is stuck charging $25 an hour because they are doing 5 an hour work manually. The experienced VA charges $150 an hour because they are leveraging technology to deliver 3 days of work in 3 hours. They understand that their value isn't in the doing, but in the directing of the AI tools. They become prompt engineers, optimizing the output rather than generating the raw material. They master the art of contextual prompting, ensuring the AI output aligns perfectly with the client's brand voice, tone, and specific strategic goals. They don't just ask the AI to write a blog post. They provide detailed audience profiles, SEO keywords, desired emotional tone, and specific calls to action, resulting in a near-perfect first draft that only requires minimal human polish. This level of integration is non-negotiable in 2025. If your current tech stack doesn't heavily feature AI automation, you are fundamentally operating at a disadvantage that your clients will eventually notice when they see your slow turnaround times compared to the VA who embraces the machine. This inefficiency is a massive red flag. It signals a lack of investment in your own professional development and a resistance to the inevitable tide of technological advancement. The veteran VA understands that the client is paying for results and speed, and AI delivers both. They have shifted their focus from task execution to strategic oversight, using the AI to manage the monotonous while they focus on the meaningful. This is not a suggestion. It is a requirement for survival in the modern VA market. You must become fluent in the language of AI, mastering tools that automate scheduling, draft communications, analyze data, and optimize marketing materials. If you are not actively learning how to use these tools to multiply your productivity by a factor of 10, you are already falling behind. The time saved by automating mundane tasks isn't just extra free time. It's time you can dedicate to higher-level consulting, strategic planning, or acquiring more clients, fundamentally changing your earning potential. The naive VA fears the tool. The professional VA wields it. Mistake number 2, a classic rookie error that persists, is failing to specialize and insisting on being a generalist. Jack of all trades. Stop saying you can do a little bit of everything. When you try to serve everyone, you end up serving no one well, and you certainly can't command a premium price. Think about the medical field. If you need brain surgery, do you hire a general practitioner? Absolutely not. You hire the highly specialized neurosurgeon who focuses exclusively on that one complex area. Clients pay top dollar for the specialist who solves their specific, painful, expensive problem. The Inexperienced VA lists 40 different services on their profile: social media, bookkeeping, email management, website design, cold calling, and graphic design. This list doesn't impress. It signals mediocrity across the board. The veteran VA, however, narrows their focus ruthlessly. They might specialize exclusively in Shopify e-commerce back-end management for health and wellness brands. Or maybe they focus only on optimizing ClickUp workflows for SaaS startups. Or perhaps they are the undisputed expert in YouTube, SEO, and keyword research for financial educators. This specialization allows them to charge significantly more because they are not selling hours. They are selling expertise and guaranteed outcomes. When AI client hires the specialist, they bypass the trial and error phase. They know the VA already understands the industry jargon, the common pitfalls, and the most effective strategies. Specialization makes your marketing simple and your value proposition undeniable. It allows you to build proprietary processes and templates that cut implementation time in half, further boosting your effective hourly rate. The generalist is stuck competing with every other entry-level VA on price, constantly battling the lowest bidder on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. The specialist, conversely, is sought out. Clients come to them, often referred by others in the niche, and they rarely balk at the price because they recognize the scarcity of that specific skill set. Furthermore, specialization allows the veteran VA to stay ahead of industry trends within that tight focus. They don't need to track every single update across 15 different software platforms. They only need to master the 3 or 4 essential tools for their niche. This focused expertise is a powerful differentiator. It creates authority. It builds confidence. It allows the VA to transition from being a simple executor of tasks to a true consultant who advises the client on strategic moves within their specialized field. If you are still marketing yourself as the person who does whatever needs to be done, you are leaving 80% of your potential income on the table. In 2025, ambiguity is expensive. Clarity is profitable. Choose your niche, own it, and become the undisputed authority within that narrow lane. This focused approach is the foundation upon which all high-paying VA careers are built. It is the necessary step to move from being viewed as cheap labor to being recognized as essential infrastructure. The generalist is easily replaced. The specialist is irreplaceable. Moving to mistake number 3. Poor communication hygiene, characterized by slow replies and vague updates. This mistake isn't just unprofessional. It actively erodes client trust and creates unnecessary anxiety for the employer. In the remote work environment of 2025, communication is the lifeblood of the relationship. A rookie VA might take 12 hours to respond to a critical Slack message, or they might send a project update that simply says, "Working on the thing," We'll send later. This lack of clarity and timeliness forces the client to chase the VA, creating a second job for the person who hired the VA to reduce their workload. This is a massive failure. The experienced veteran VA operates with surgical precision regarding communication. They establish clear, explicit communication protocols from day one. They define response times for different channels. Instant for critical Slack messages within 30 minutes during working hours. 4 hours for non-urgent emails, and 24 hours for project feedback. They use communication tools proactively. They don't wait for the client to ask for an update. They provide structured, daily or weekly progress reports that are concise and outcome-focused. Instead of saying, "I worked on the blog post," the veteran says, "The blog post draft for Q3 SEO strategy is 80% complete. I need approval on the featured image selection by 4 p.m. EST today to ensure Monday publication." Notice the difference. The veteran's update is specific, measurable, and includes a clear call to action or a required input from the client. They use tools like Loom to record quick video updates, walking the client through complex changes or explaining a workflow decision, which is far more efficient than typing out long, confusing emails. Furthermore, the veteran VA understands the concept of closing the loop. If a task is completed, they don't just mark it done in the project management tool. They briefly notify the client, confirming completion and asking if there are any immediate next steps related to that task. This constant professional communication flow acts as a form of assurance. The client never has to wonder what the VA is doing, which is the ultimate goal of hiring remote help. When communication is vague or delayed, the client assumes the worst, that the VA is overwhelmed, disorganized, or simply not working. The veteran eliminates this doubt entirely through consistent, high-quality, and predictive communication. They manage expectations by providing advance notice if they will be unavailable or if a deadline needs to shift, offering a proposed solution immediately rather than waiting until the deadline passes. This proactive approach transforms the VA from a source of stress into a source of stability. Good communication hygiene is not a soft skill. It is a critical operational requirement that directly impacts client retention and referral rates. In 2025, where global teams operate across multiple time zones, clear and timely communication is the bedrock of trust, and the veteran VA treats it as such. They understand that silence is the enemy of collaboration. The fourth major pitfall for the inexperienced is treating tasks as transactional and failing to think like a business partner. This is the difference between an employee and an owner. The rookie VA waits for a task to be assigned, completes it exactly as instructed, and then waits for the next instruction. They operate purely within the confines of the job description. If the client asks them to schedule a meeting, they schedule the meeting. If the client asks them to post a social media update, they post the update. They are task responders, not problem solvers. This mindset is low value and easily outsourced to cheaper labor or automated entirely by AI. The veteran VA, conversely, adopts a strategic partnership mentality. When they receive a task, they don't just execute it, they ask, "Why is the client asking for this?" What is the underlying business goal? How can I execute this task in a way that provides maximum return on the client's investment? For example, if a rookie is asked to upload 10 new products to an e-commerce store, they simply upload the products. The veteran VA, however, notices that the existing product descriptions are missing key SEO terms. The images are not optimized for mobile load speed, and the pricing structure seems inconsistent with industry standards. They don't just upload the products, they pause, draft a memo to the client outlining these strategic improvements, and ask for permission to implement the optimizations during the upload process. They transform a simple data entry task into a revenue-generating optimization project. They look for inefficiencies and proactively suggest solutions that save the client time or money. They track key performance indicators, KPIs, relevant to their tasks, not just completion rates, but actual business metrics like conversion rates, time saved, or lead quality improvement. They present their findings not as "I did this," but as "because I implemented X, your conversion rate on that landing page increased by 3%. This shift in perspective transforms the VA from a cost center, someone who bills hours, into a profit center, someone who generates measurable value. The experienced VA sees the client's business holistically. They anticipate needs before they are articulated. They don't just manage the calendar, they suggest better ways to structure the client's day to maximize deep work time. They don't just manage the inbox, they suggest new filtering rules and automation sequences to reduce overall email volume. This partnership mentality is the reason veteran VAs secure long-term, high-retainer contracts. They are not just hands executing instructions, they are brains offering strategic input. They become indispensable because they actively contribute to the client's growth, making their departure a significant business risk for the client. Stop waiting for instructions. Start looking for problems you can solve without being asked. That is the true hallmark of a high-value VA in 2025. Mistake number 5 is a massive self-sabotage. Error: neglecting personal branding and portfolio and relying solely on generic platforms. The inexperienced VA believes that simply having a profile on Upwork, Fiverr, or a similar platform is enough. They use a generic headshot, a bland description of their skills, and rely on the platform's star rating system. They treat themselves as a commodity, interchangeable with the next person who offers a lower rate. This is a fatal mistake in the modern freelance economy. The veteran VA understands that they are a business, not an employee, and every successful business requires a strong, focused brand identity. They invest in a professional custom website or portfolio page that showcases their specific niche expertise. This portfolio doesn't just list past jobs, it features case studies. A case study is crucial. It details the client's initial problem, the specific solution the VA implemented, and the measurable results achieved. E.g., increased client A's lead generation by 45% in 6 weeks using a 3-step LinkedIn outreach strategy. This quantifiable proof of performance is what closes high-ticket deals. Furthermore, the veteran VA actively manages their presence off the main platforms. They utilize LinkedIn as a strategic networking tool, publishing content related to their niche, engaging with industry leaders, and subtly positioning themselves as the go-to expert. They have a clear, consistent visual identity and a defined brand voice that attracts their ideal client, the client willing to pay a premium. They understand that when a potential high-value client finds them through a referral or a platform, the client's next step is always to Google them. If the client finds a professional, polished website with undeniable proof of results, the negotiation is already 80% won. If they find nothing or a generic profile that looks identical to 1,000 others, the VA is relegated back to the low-bid competition pool. Personal branding is your insurance policy against commoditization. It allows you to control the narrative, attract clients who align with your values and pricing, and ultimately escape the race to the bottom. In 2025, if you don't control your professional narrative, someone else will, and they'll likely price you far too low. Next up, mistake number 6. Underestimating security protocols, especially improper password and access management. This is the fastest way to lose a high-value client and potentially face severe professional repercussions. The rookie VA often uses insecure methods for managing client access, sending passwords via email, using shared spreadsheets stored in unsecured cloud drives, or worse, using the same simple password for multiple client accounts. This demonstrates a profound misunderstanding of digital security best practices and exposes the client to significant risk. The veteran VA treats client security as sacred. They mandate the use of professional encrypted password managers like LastPass, 1Password, or Dashlane for all client credentials. They never receive or send passwords directly via email or chat. They insist on two-factor authentication, 2FA, for every critical account and help the client set up secure access methods. Crucially, they understand the principle of least privilege, only requesting access to the specific tools and data necessary to perform the task, and ensuring that access is revoked immediately upon contract completion. Furthermore, in 2025, this extends to understanding phishing and social engineering risks. The experienced VA is highly vigilant about suspicious emails or requests for sensitive information, often verifying high-stakes requests through a secondary channel, e.g., calling the client if an email asks for an urgent wire transfer. They educate their clients gently on the importance of strong security hygiene, positioning themselves as a guardian of the client's digital assets. If you are still relying on sticky notes, text messages, or unencrypted documents for client credentials, you are not just being careless. You are being negligent. High-value clients, especially those in finance, tech, or health, will conduct due diligence on your security practices. If you can't confidently articulate your robust security protocols, you won't get the contract. Mastering security isn't just a technical skill, it's a fundamental demonstration of professional maturity and trustworthiness. Mistake number 7 is pricing disaster. Pricing based purely on hours instead of value and outcome. This is the trap that keeps VAs perpetually stuck at lower income levels. The rookie VA calculates their rate based on what they think their time is worth, often starting low out of fear of rejection, 20-hour, 35-hour. They sell units of time, which means their income is capped by the number of hours they can physically work. This is the definition of trading time for money, which is precisely what freelancing is supposed to help you escape. The veteran VA, however, understands that the client isn't buying 10 hours of their time. The client is buying a specific, measurable result. A problem solved, a system optimized, revenue generated, or time saved. The veteran shifts to value-based pricing, retainer models, or project-based fees tied to outcomes. Consider this scenario. A rookie VA charges 30-hour to set up a complex email marketing automation sequence, taking them 20 hours, $600 total. A veteran VA, using advanced specialized tools and their proprietary templates, completes the exact same sequence in 5 hours, but charges a flat project fee of $2,500 because that sequence is projected to generate $10,000 in sales for the client over the next quarter. The client happily pays the $2,500 because the ROI is massive. The veteran's effective hourly rate is $500, not $30. The key difference is the veteran VA quantifies the value they deliver. They ask the client, "What is the cost to your business if this problem is not solved?" Or, "How much is 1 hour of your time worth to you?" They frame their service as an investment, not an expense. Retainers are another critical element. High-level VAs rarely sell single hours. They sell monthly retainers that guarantee a minimum block of their specialized time and expertise, ensuring stable, predictable income for themselves and guaranteed availability for the client. This shift from hourly billing to outcome-focused pricing is the single most significant factor in multiplying a VA's income. Stop selling your effort. Start selling the transformation you provide. Mistake number 8, which screams amateur, is avoiding proactive problem solving and simply waiting for instructions. This ties back to the transactional mindset, but it focuses specifically on initiative. The inexperienced VA encounters a roadblock, a piece of missing information, a broken link, a technical error. And they immediately stop working and send an email to the client saying, "I can't proceed until you provide X." They shift the burden of solving the micro problem back onto the client. This is incredibly frustrating for the employer who hired the VA to remove burdens, not create new ones. The veteran VA operates with a figure-it-out mentality. When they hit a roadblock, they take 3 proactive steps before contacting the client. First, they try to find the solution themselves using available resources, documentation, or quick online research. Second, if they cannot solve it, they identify 2 to 3 potential solutions or alternatives and analyze the pros and cons of each. Third, they present the client with the problem and the proposed solutions, asking for a quick decision on which path to take. For example, instead of saying, "The link you sent for the landing page is broken," the veteran says, "The link for the Q4 landing page is broken. I've found 2 possible versions in the archived files. Option A is the draft from November, and Option B is the final version from December, but it has a different headline. I recommend Option B as the content is newer. Please confirm if I should use B, or if you prefer, I wait for the new link." This approach demonstrates critical thinking, resourcefulness, and respect for the client's time. It shows the client that the VA is actively managing the project and minimizing friction. Proactive problem-solving is the defining characteristic of a high-level VA. They don't just follow the map. They fix the potholes and reroute the journey when necessary, ensuring the destination is reached efficiently. Moving into the organizational realm, mistake number 9 is mismanaging time zones and availability, failing to set clear boundaries. Remote work demands strict clarity about when and how you are available. The rookie VA often assumes they must be always on, responding to emails at 11 p.m., or accepting calls outside their stated working hours, often driven by fear of disappointing the client. This leads rapidly to burnout, resentment, and inconsistent performance. The veteran VA knows that clear boundaries are the secret to long-term sustainability and higher perceived value. They establish a defined core availability window, e 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. EST, and communicate this clearly in their contract and communication tools. They use tools like Calendly or Acuity scheduling that automatically manage time zone conversions, eliminating the common rookie mistake of scheduling a meeting at 2 p.m. their time, which turns out to be 2 a.m. the client's time. Furthermore, they teach the client how to interact with them effectively. They might use a status message in Slack that says, "Currently focused on deep work tasks until 1 p.m. For urgent issues, please tag me with *critical. This sets an expectation that not every message requires an instant reply, protecting the VA's focus time. They also proactively inform the client of planned absences, even short ones, well in advance. This professional management of time zones and availability signals respect for the VA's own time and, paradoxically, increases the client's respect for the VA. A VA who is always available is often perceived as having low demand. A VA who manages their time professionally and sets firm boundaries is perceived as highly sought after and high value. Setting boundaries is not rude, it is professional. It ensures that when the VA is working, they are operating at peak performance, which is what the client truly pays for. Mistake number 10, particularly relevant in 2025, is using outdated software and workflows, ignoring modern project management best practices. The rookie VA often defaults to what they know, using email as a primary task management tool, tracking budgets in generic spreadsheets, or relying on outdated versions of software because they are free or familiar. This creates chaos, inefficiency, and a lack of transparency for the client. The veteran VA is a master of modern workflow optimization. They are fluent in robust project management systems like ClickUp, Asana, Trello, or Monday, and they don't just use them, they customize them to fit the client's specific needs, creating seamless, automated workflows. They understand that tasks should live in the PM tool, communication in Slack teams, and documentation in a centralized knowledge base like Notion or Google Docs. They actively seek out and implement integrations that automate data transfer between different tools, e.g., integrating their scheduling tool with the client's CRM. They implement agile methodologies using Kanban boards, defining clear sprints, and conducting quick, efficient weekly check-ins. They understand that a professional VA doesn't just manage tasks, they manage the entire system that houses the tasks. If the client is still using rudimentary systems, the veteran VA gently proposes a migration plan to a more efficient system, positioning themselves as the project manager for the transition. This ability to optimize the operational infrastructure is extremely high value. It saves the client countless hours of searching for files, tracking progress, and communicating next steps. Staying current with software trends and mastering advanced features of project management tools is a non-negotiable investment for any VA aiming for the high-tier market in 2025. Your workflows should be a testament to efficiency, not a relic of the past. Now for mistake number 11, which often separates the solo burnout from the scalable operator. Fear of delegation or outsourcing. Small parts of their own work. The rookie VA believes they must personally execute every single task they are hired for, even if it's a low-value, time-consuming chore that doesn't utilize their core specialized skill. They fall into the trap of thinking, if I do it myself, I save money. This is scarcity thinking. The veteran VA operates with an abundance mindset and understands leverage. They view themselves as the project manager for the client's needs. If they are hired for high-level strategic planning, but the contract also includes 10 hours of tedious data entry, the veteran VA calculates the cost-benefit. If they charge $100 for strategy, but can hire a trusted, vetted sub-VA for $20 to handle the data entry, they outsource the task. They maintain quality control and manage the subcontractor, billing the client for the full scope of the work while capturing the margin. This allows them to focus their expensive, specialized time on the tasks that only they can do, maximizing their income and preventing burnout. Outsourcing allows the veteran VA to take on more complex and larger projects than they could handle alone, dramatically increasing their capacity and revenue ceiling. They build a small, trusted network of reliable subcontractors for tasks like specialized graphic design, complex video editing, or translation services. This ability to scale and manage a small team, even for temporary tasks, transforms the VA from a freelancer into an agency owner, significantly increasing their perceived value and their actual earnings. If you are refusing to offload 15 an hour work so you can spend your time focusing on a 150 an hour strategy, you are actively limiting your earning potential. Delegation is not failure, it is strategic leverage. Mistake number 12, a major missed revenue opportunity. Failing to upsell or offer strategic growth suggestions. The rookie VA completes the contract scope and asks, "What's next?" The veteran VA completes the contract scope and presents a proposal for the next phase of growth. They understand that the easiest client to sell to is the one who already trusts you and has seen your results. The rookie VA focuses on maintaining the status quo, ensuring the current systems run smoothly. The veteran VA focuses on improvement and expansion. They constantly look for opportunities to increase the client's revenue, reduce their costs, or save them more time. For instance, if the VA is managing the client's social media, the veteran notices that the client lacks a consistent email capture mechanism. They don't just point it out, they present a proposal. Phase 2. Implement a high-converting lead magnet and integrate it with your existing email system. This will cost an additional $1,500, but is projected to increase your email list growth by 20% monthly. They quantify the benefit and present a clear path forward. Upselling is not being pushy, it is being proactive and genuinely helpful. It requires the VA to stay informed about the client's overall business goals and align their service offerings to those goals. This could involve suggesting an upgrade in software, proposing a new automation sequence, or offering to train the client's internal staff on the systems the VA built. This strategic upselling transforms the VA relationship from a temporary service agreement into a long-term evolving partnership centered on growth. If you are waiting for the client to ask you for more work, you are missing the chance to define the ihai trajectory of that work and secure a higher value retainer. The 13th mistake is often an issue of false economy. Over-relying on free tools. When paid, necessary tools are essential for efficiency. The rookie VA is often budget-conscious to a fault, choosing the free tier of every software, even if it means sacrificing critical features, speed, or professional branding. They try to patch together a dozen free tools to mimic the functionality of one professional, paid solution. This results in clunky workflows, data silos, and a massive waste of time, the client's time and the VA's time. The veteran VA views professional software as a mandatory business investment. They understand that spending $50 or $100 a month on a premium project management tool, a specialized SEO research platform, or a robust automation suite is an investment that pays for itself 10 times over in efficiency gains and professional output quality. They calculate the true cost of using the free tool. If the free tool saves them $50 a month but costs them 5 hours of manual workaround time and their rate is $75 hour, they are losing $375 in potential income. The investment in the right tools allows the veteran VA to deliver faster, more reliable, and higher quality results, which directly justifies their premium pricing. They also often manage the client's software subscriptions, recommending the best tools and ensuring they are utilized to their full potential. They don't just use the software, they maximize its utility, ensuring the client is getting the most out of their tech stack. Stop letting a few dollars a month stand in the way of professional-grade performance. Your tools are your trade. Invest in the best to deliver the best. Mistake number 14, a legal and financial headache. Ignoring contract clarity and failing to prevent scope creep. The rookie VA often starts work with a vague verbal agreement or a boilerplate contract lifted from a free template. They fail to define the exact boundaries of the project, the number of revisions included, the expected turnaround times, and critically, the process for handling requests that fall outside the initial scope, scope creep. As a result, the client starts adding small extra tasks. Can you just quickly do this? Which over time consume hours of unpaid labor, leading to resentment and burnout for the VA. The veteran VA treats the contract as a sacred document and a tool for managing client expectations. Their contracts are highly detailed, specifying exactly what is included and, just as importantly, what is excluded. They have a clear, documented process for handling scope creep. If a request falls outside the defined scope, the VA immediately and politely flags it, explaining that it's a high-value request and provides a mini proposal for the additional work, either as an add-on fee or an adjustment to the retainer hours. They use professional contract management software to ensure clarity and digital signatures. They understand that a clear contract protects both parties. It prevents the client from feeling misled and ensures the VA is fairly compensated for all the work performed. This professionalism around contracts is a hallmark of a mature business operator. If you are consistently doing quick favors that add up to 10, 20 unpaid hours per month, you are operating at a loss. Learn to define, document, and defend your scope of work. Finally, mistake number 15, the ultimate failure of proving value. Not tracking metrics and failing to quantify ROI. The Inexperienced VA measures success by task completion. I posted 30 tweets this month. The veteran VA measures success by business impact. Those 30 tweets drove 500 clicks to the landing page, resulting in 15 new leads. If you cannot quantify the value you bring to a client's business, you are inherently replaceable. High-value clients are not interested in effort. They are interested in results and profit. The veteran VA systematically tracks KPIs relevant to their specialization, whether it's lead conversion rates, website traffic increases, time saved for the CEO, or reduction in operational costs. They don't just track the data. They compile it into concise, professional monthly reports that clearly articulate the return on investment, ROI, the client received from the VA's services. They use data visualization tools to make the impact easy to understand. These reports become the primary justification for raising rates, securing contract renewals, and obtaining referrals. When renewal time comes, the conversation is not about, "Are you happy with my work?" but, "Based on the 20% increase in lead quality we delivered last quarter, here is my proposal for the expanded scope in the next quarter." The data does the selling for them. If you are not actively tracking, measuring, and reporting the tangible, financial, or time-saving benefits of your work, you are committing a fundamental business error. You are allowing your value to be subjective when it should be objective and undeniable. In 2025, every professional service must demonstrate measurable impact. So, there you have it, the 15 critical mistakes that separate the struggling rookie from the thriving veteran VA in 2025. This isn't just a list of things to avoid, it's a strategic roadmap for professional elevation. We talked about moving past manual processes by embracing AI copilots, recognizing that technology is leverage, not competition. We stressed the absolute necessity of ruthless specialization. Stop being a generalist and become the indispensable expert in your niche. You must overhaul your communication hygiene, moving from vague updates to structured, outcome-focused reports that eliminate client anxiety. Shift your mindset from transactional task completion to strategic partnership, always asking, "How can this task generate more value?" Stop relying on generic platforms. Build your own high-value personal brand and portfolio with undeniable case studies. Prioritize security protocols like a bank vault, ensuring you handle client access with the highest level of professional diligence. Crucially, stop trading time for money. Price based on the value and measurable outcome you deliver, not the hours you clock. Embrace proactive problem-solving, offering solutions instead of simply reporting roadblocks. Master your availability by setting clear, professional boundaries and leveraging time zone management tools. Upgrade your operational infrastructure by ditching outdated systems and mastering modern project management workflows. Learn to strategically delegate low-value tasks to scale your capacity and focus on your high-rate specialization. Always be looking for opportunities to upsell and offer strategic growth suggestions. The easiest client to sell to is the one you already serve. Invest in the necessary professional tools, understanding that paying for efficiency is not an expense, but a powerful investment. Finally, protect your business with clear contracts, preventing scope creep, and always quantify your value through meticulous metric tracking and ROI reporting. The VA market is consolidating. The middle ground is disappearing. You are either competing on the bottom rung based on price, or you're operating at the high level based on strategic value. The choice is yours, but the time to implement these changes is now. Stop making rookie mistakes and start building the high-level, high-retention VA business you deserve. Now go out there and audit your own operations. Where are your gaps? Fix them today.